Breaking news, the Quentin Grimes holdout situation is finally done with. Today we'll talk about what happened and what it means for this Sixers team, not only this season, but next season as well. And also we get some final training camp footage from the Sixers in Abu Dhabi. We'll talk about the biggest storylines as we head into the preseason tomorrow against the New York Knicks. All that and more coming up here on Philly Take with RB. But welcome into the show. I am RB. And man, you want to talk about a free agent frenzy. You want to talk about wild. I know we've had our fair share of holdouts here in Philadelphia, but man, you go back to that July 1st free agency show we had. I thought it might take a day or two, maybe three. But here we are 3 months later on October 1st, and the Quentin Grimes situation finally gets done. So we have to talk about what that means, and we'll get into a whole bunch more. But I want to start it off with what happened yesterday that I think kind of kicked things into gear. Jonathan Kuminga signs a 2-year, $48.5 million deal with the Warriors, and essentially it has a team option on the second year, so that'll be done after this year. So pretty much he signed a 1-year deal. We go back to Cam Thomas, he signed a 1-year qualifying offer. We go back to Josh Giddey, he signed a 4-year extension. So it was 2-1 in the RFA market. And now we have the decision on Quentin Grimes. Shams reports that Quentin Grimes is signing the 1-year, $8.7 million qualifying offer to return to the Sixers. Grimes will now hold an inherent no-trade clause and enter a more flush market in unrestricted free agency next summer. So, honestly, I've been telling you this for about a month and a half. Nothing is new. The likely scenario, the likely outcome was for Grimes to take the 1-year qualifying offer at this point. Originally, I thought the Sixers were going to sign him for $15, $16, $17 million per year. And then it came to the point where no teams were spending in free agency. And the Sixers held all the leverage. So honestly, I can't blame them for being in this situation. But on the other side, it really did not make much sense from a Grimes standpoint. And I want to get into that and talk about ultimately if this is the right situation and the right outcome for both sides. But I want to turn it over to you. What do you think? Let me know down below. Is this the right decision for Quentin Grimes? And is it the right decision for the 76ers? I'll give you my final ruling and my final answer on the other side. But first, a shout out to our sponsor of today's video. Sleeper obviously is a juggernaut when it comes to the fantasy sports world. You probably use them for your fantasy football draft. They're a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat about games in real time with other users, get the fastest scores, news, and alerts right at your fingertips. But also, Sleeper's Picks is really cool. All you have to do is choose anywhere from 2 up to 8 of your favorite players and make picks, whether it's pregame, even live during the game, or across multiple sports. You pick the over or under on the predicted stats, and with Sleeper, you can get up to 1,000 times payout if your picks win. So use the promo code PhillyTake on Sleeper and get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Ultimately, the answer is no. This was not the optimized outcome. This was not the optimal decision for both sides. I understand it from a Sixers standpoint because, again, if you can have Grimes on the book at $8.7 million, I think it makes a lot of sense. Like, that's a steal for this season. But on Quentin Grimes' side, the end game never made any sense. Why would you go out here and hold out for a couple months knowing that no other teams have any cap space? No teams are going to make an offer above this number where the Sixers are going to have to come in and match it. And then also, there's just going to be like some agony between the sides. These two sides are going to keep butting heads for as long as this goes on. And it just feels kind of awkward. You know, he wasn't there for the training camp and some preseason stuff so far, like, you know, just getting acclimated, working out with the guys. And according to Shams Charania, the Sixers believe they have a solid chance to retain Quentin Grimes next summer. And honestly, I don't believe that one bit at all. All the reporting to this point has been, well, you know, the Grimes side wants 20, 25 million a year, and the Sixers want to stay at that, you know, $10 million range. And you want to hear something even crazier? At one point, Shams says that Quentin Grimes requested $30 million per year. This guy literally wanted to be paid like a top option on a team, top 2 option. He wanted to be an NBA All-Star when it came to the salary books. And honestly, that never made any sense. So what did the Sixers do? They go out and essentially disrespect Quentin Grimes. We talked about the balloon payment, right? Maybe the Sixers could have offered him, a couple million more, $5 million more, and said, hey, we'll give you more guaranteed money this year, but we need you to waive your no trade clause. That way we can trade you during the year. Grimes said no because the Sixers offered him a $100,000 raise. So the Sixers essentially lowballed him here. And on the other side, Quentin Grimes wanted $30 million per year. So why did Grimes want all this money? Well, it's obvious, right? He comes in after the trade and he averages almost 22 a game, 5 boards, 4.5 assists, had some crazy moments, but albeit you were playing with a team that was fully tanking. You were playing with the guys from the G League, essentially. And you just, were pretty much the spotlight every single game. So your numbers were inflated a bit. But on the other side, you look at the Sixers, and even now coming back into this situation, they're going to have Jared McCain when he gets healthy. They're going to have VJ Edgecombe, obviously Tyrese Maxey. So how does Grimes now fit back into this mix? Because essentially, at the end of the day, Grimes now has to bet on himself coming back. And let's be honest, these sides, these two parties are not really seeing eye to eye. So the concern for me comes into the fact that Grimes is probably going to be out here playing for himself, trying to earn that next contract and really just focused on his own priorities. Whereas the Sixers need him to contribute if they're really trying to win this season and they're trying to continue to build this young guard core as they go into the next couple of years, if they want to emulate some of these other teams around the league. But if I was Quentin Grimes, I probably would have took 3 or 4 years of more guaranteed money. Let's say it was $10 million a year, right? 4 years, $40 million. I mean, there's no guarantees in this league. Guys are going down left and right with injury. You might not even get as many minutes or as many touches this year. What if Joel and Paul George do play? You're not going to be a focal point of the offense. So honestly, I think it was bad advisement from Grimes' side, and I think the Sixers have essentially pissed them off, and I just don't know how things are going to go this season. But ultimately, now that the Grimes situation is done, we can finally go past it and think about what is going to happen tomorrow, and that is a preseason game in Abu Dhabi against the New York Knicks. The Sixers will play tomorrow. They will play on Saturday. We will be live streaming those games, so make sure to tap in. But we have a little bit of footage from the Sixers' final training camp practices in Abu Dhabi. Honestly, the way they did it this year kind of sucked because we covered the first couple days of camp and then they left. There's no reporters over there, so we don't really get an inside look at what's going on. All we have is what the Sixers put out. We have a picture of Tyrese Maxey here. We have a video of Justin Edwards getting some threes up. And then we have Joel Embiid, a little still shot there. Good to see him. Looks to be in pretty good shape still. And then we have our boy VJ. That release looked a little bit different than what we saw during the pre-draft process. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I think he's working on that three-point shot, getting ready for the season. I'm excited to see what VJ Edgecombe can do. And then we have a little more footage from today. Here's Tyrese Maxey. He was joking about that arm sleeve in the media day. So I guess we are getting arm sleeve, accessory, headband, whatever, Maxey this season. Here's Joel Embiid putting up some shots. Looks pretty good. Hopefully we can eventually see him at some point. I'm sure they won't play him in the preseason. We have Kelly Oubre, who has dyed his hair. And then finally we have Paul George finally moving around a little bit, which is a positive thing to see. Hopefully things can all come together. But overall, what should we be expecting in the preseason? What do we want to see in these next couple of games and so forth? Well, for me, I want to see the power forward position, right? Like we already know about the guards. Jared McCain's not going to be there. He's injured. Grimes will not be there. Now he's going to need time to acclimate. We know about Embiid and Paul George. Whenever their bodies are right, they'll come back. So I really want to focus on the role players and the guys that are here. And when it comes down to the power forward position, I want to see Trendon Watford. Now, we haven't got an update. They said he had hamstring tightness the other day, but Nurse said that we should see him soon. So I want to see Trendon Watford. I want to see Jabari Walker. I want to see Dominic Barlow. I think that battle right there is going to shape up to be the most important. But I also want to see guys like Justin Edwards. And I also want to see the backup center battle as well. Is the Dembona going to take that leap? A lot of hype about Adem Bona this year after he played a lot overseas this summer, right? And you have Andre Drummond, obviously, who's coming back. Nurse said he's like 20, I think, 20 or 30 pounds lighter. And then you have other guys battling as well. So I want to see what those guys can do. I also want to see Tyrese Maxey kind of take over the offense a little bit. I think that's my second thing, especially without Embiid and Paul George on the floor. Can Maxey go out there and just dominate? Can he be that guy? And can he take, 20, 30 touches a night and just kind of like command the floor? So I want to see what his court awareness and just his overall leadership is like as we get into some of these games. And last but not least, I want to see VJ Edgecombe. Obviously, we all do, but how will they have him playing? Will he be on the ball? Will he be off the ball? Obviously, when it came to Summer League, he was taking a lot of the touches, and he looked really good going downhill. His dribble arsenal was pretty solid. His three-point shot was a little shaky, but he had a couple impressive moments. So with guys like Maxey on the floor, what will that look like for VJ? What do you think the starting lineup will be? And give me all your other thoughts down below. And let me know what you think about Quentin Grimes taking the one-year qualifying offer. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will catch you on the next one. Peace.